Welcome back to the shop, guys. I'm Stoner Ericson from Ericson Design Company. This week we're going to do some DIY gifts with some scrap stuff we have laying around the shop. Now, I just finished resurfacing a wooden countertop with this clear coat epoxy. So we have that as extra, and I have a bunch of hardwood scraps laying around. So I figured that we could make some rings and some pendants and some magnets. So stick around till the end. I'm Stoner Ericson from Ericson Design Company. Let's build something. Ta-da! All right, so we're gonna first start out by cutting our blanks. Now this is some old mahogany that actually came on a pallet. It was a little piece, like a stretcher piece, so when I saw it, I was like, oh, I can use that. Any hardwoods like mahogany are very expensive, and this is only a 1/2 inch thick. And why they use that on pallets is because it's scrap wood for them, and it's really strong. So we're gonna start by just kind of mocking out our blanks, making some down cuts so that we can kind of get a cool design. Now on my pendants, I do want one that has a live edge, so here I'm going to cut a live edge off of it. Now this is 1/8 inch plexiglass. Instead of do these one at a time, I'm going to go ahead and make a form. And with the plexiglass, I'll just use a sharp razor blade knife, score it, and then I'll break it. Now with the form sides, I can't get a good leverage on breaking off a 3/4 inch piece, so I'll just run it to the bandsaw. Now super glue is not going to work on this. It's just taking too long to set up, so I'm going to use the hot glue gun. This is always at my bench, so it doesn't take long to warm up. So I'll just hot glue all the sides and then all the spacers. Now the hot glue actually makes a pretty good seal, almost like a caulk. So I'm going to use that on the bottoms and the side, and then I'm going to go around the inside of every one of the forms so that I don't have much leakage of the epoxy out. These don't have to look super pretty because I'm actually using the center part of the ring. I'm not using a lot of this form. I actually made this form way too big, but when you're just having fun in the shop, using up leftover stuff. So the drill press and the bandsaw are actually going to get quite a bit of work out in this video. Now these two are the cheapest drill press and bandsaws you can get on Amazon. I think total it was like $250 for both of them. And I needed these smaller ones because I wanted them to fit inside the flip top table because I was trying to make more room in my shop. So 2 tools on a flip top table is much better. And I'll tell you what, both of them are Win products. They work really well. I'm not sponsored by Win or anything, but for what I use them for, not high production, they work really well. So there'll be a link in the description below about these if you guys want to pick these guys up. I'm going to take some Tyvek tapes and just kind of mask the bottom of it off just in case I have any leak out. It doesn't get all over my table. And then now to hold the blanks down in the form, I'm just going to do a little hot glue and glue them down so that they don't float around. So I'm going to use some parchment paper here to keep the epoxy off of my workbench in case I have any spills. And then they make these little measuring cups. They sell them on Amazon, and it's a good way to put your epoxy and your hardener together to mix. Now I do have this scale. Clearly that's going to be more accurate, a digital scale. So use what you have, but you do want the ratio to be correct so it hardens the right way. Give it a mix up. I do have these coloring pigments here. They are glow in the dark, which is really cool. And I thought, since I'm making a ring, a green ring and a green pendant, or a pink ring and a pink pendant as a set, I would use glow in the dark stuff. So all of the supplies in this video will be linked in the description below. Go down there and check it out. Support the channel. Now that they're mixed up, I'm just going to fill up the forms. So while we were mixing this, we created quite a few air bubbles in the epoxy, and as it settles, they'll all float to the top. The best way I found to get rid of these is just to run a lighter over the top, and it'll pop all the bubbles and give you a nice glossy finish to your epoxy. Go ahead and do this once or twice to get all the air bubbles out. And now here's a look on what the glow in the dark will look like. Pretty cool. Now that the epoxy is secured for 24 hours, we're going to pull it out of the form. They do make a epoxy release spray, so if you wanted to get some of that, you could use that. Now we're going to be using the drill press and bandsaw. These are both from Win, like I said, and they're on a flip top table. The designs for this table are by the Fix This Build That guy. Check him out, they're pretty awesome. Now I'm going to make these rings my size and one or two smaller. So I'm going to grab a Forstner bit and line it up and set up the dust collection. And you'll see how much the dust collection picks up from this. Just a little clamp to the table, and it really gets, I would say, 70% of it. It's actually pretty nice. On to the bandsaw. I'm going to take a piece of 1/4 inch plywood here and make a sacrificial piece. That way the smaller pieces don't fall in between the blade and the saw and bind up. Then I'm just going to freehand it as close as I can get. Then I'll make the pendants by just kind of roughing them in and making them look like a diamond or a stone on the top. This was an old bandsaw blade, so it broke, so I'll just easily reset with a new blade, set the tension, and keep on cruising. Now on to the oscillating sander. I'm going to sand these one by one and get as close as I can. Make them as thin as possible without losing their integrity and their strength. Then I'm going to sand the width of the ring. I'm actually going to use my wedding ring as a guide here, and I'll try to get them as close as I can to that. All right, onto the drill press. So we're going to use that same Forstner bit, and we're going to slide the ring up over it. Then we're going to take a little bit of tape, and we're going to make it so the ring will slide down on the tape nice and taut. And then we're gonna finish sand this with a 220, a 400, a 1500, and a wet sand with a 2000 grit. If you like fun and creative videos like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we're putting these out every Tuesday. I'm having a blast in the shop, so get on board, subscribe to the channel. Hey, there's a few ways you can support the channel. Check out my merch. It's at Ericson Design Company /merch on Streamlabs. We've got hats, we've got stickers, we've got shirts. Also, check out my Instagram. It's at Stoner Ericson. I'm doing previews to these projects. And if there's anything you'd want to see me build or challenge me to build, leave a comment below. I read every comment. I totally will comment back. So check it out, guys. No, I'm not going to make you watch me turn another one of these guys. I'm just going to hop right into the pendants. So I'm just going to drill an 1/8 inch hole for my leather strap for the pendant. So that way you'll have a matching ring and a matching necklace. So I could sand down these pendants to 2000 grit, but that'll take quite a bit of time. So here's a little trick. I'm gonna mix up some clear epoxy, and then I'm gonna take a hot glue gun and I'm gonna hot glue my pieces and pendants and rings to the table. Now I'm gonna paint on the epoxy over top of the pendants. Now this is gonna fill all the gaps and scratches and make it look like crystal and glass. This is a really cool trick. Try it out. Then I'll use that same technique by using a lighter to force all the air bubbles out. And they look really cool and shiny. And they're glow in the dark. What a fun video to make. Your imagination is your only limitation. This guy came out so cool, and it's just got a leather strap on it. My wife loves wearing that one. I've got the red ring on. Again, it's glow in the dark. It's really quite comfortable. Using that lathe, or using the drill press as a lathe was actually pretty cool and kind of fun. Check out my other videos right here, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'm Stoner Ericson from Ericson Design Company, and we built something. Ta-da!